everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to the Parent Podcast here in our new podcast studio. I hope you had an amazing time of worship this weekend with our church family here at AVC. I'm Josh, youth pastor here at the church, and I want to thank you for joining me on your drive, your lunch break, or that time you set aside just for this each week. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Matthew 7:12 says, "Therefore, whatever you want others to do for you, do also the same for them. For this is the law and the prophets." Or, maybe for those of us who grew up with the King James Version, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." We live in a time where it's so easy to see my way as right and everyone else's is wrong. But what do we do when our kids are in a difficult situation where they are in the eye of everyone else's wrong? One of the hardest things that I have to deal with as a parent is seeing my child in pain. I would do anything to take away the pain that she feels. She came home from church just yesterday with a Band-Aid on her knee because she got a carpet burn. And ridiculous or not, I was wondering if I should send her in knee pads next week just so it doesn't happen again. That's physical pain. She's 9. She'll toughen up. But what happens to my daughter when it becomes an older kind of hurt? What happens when the pain isn't physical, but it's the pain of betrayal, the pain that comes from protecting someone else, or the pain that comes from words? I know the old cliche of sticks and stones, but let's be honest, every parent knows the truth. Words hurt. There are times where I'd rather a broken bone than be hurt by someone's words. Bones heal, but words stick with you. I remember stuff said to me back in high school. So, I bring all this up to point back to something I taught our students in March. In Numbers 21, there's a story about the people of Israel as they were wandering in the desert. So the pain and suffering they were going through in the desert came directly from their own words and actions. They were told they would wander for 40 years because of their disbelief. When we reach them in Numbers 21, they are despising what God had provided them in their wandering. So, God sent snakes among the people. When the people were bit, they died. After a time, the people asked Moses to talk to God and take the snakes away. But God instructed Moses to make an image of a serpent and put it on a pole. So when the people would look at the serpent, the object that was causing them pain and suffering, they would be healed. You know, there's something interesting about this story, though. And I promise that it goes back to what I wanted to talk about today. The second part of verse 9 says, "Whenever someone was bitten and he looked at the bronze snake, he recovered." And I want you to catch that. God didn't remove the snakes, but he brought recovery from the death that the snakes brought. Another interesting thing about the snakes, they didn't come out of nowhere. They came from the people's sin. So often, the pain that surrounds us comes from us. In the teenage years, there's this thing about wanting to have better position than everyone else, wanting to be the best friend, wanting to have all the attention that I want, wanting to be perceived the way I want to be perceived, and it doesn't matter how I get it. The hard thing about these things is the way that they're gained. Putting poison in the area, allowing snakes to bite. Now, all this stuff is going to come around to the first verse I quoted. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Parents, in this time of your students' lives, you'd be surprised how much of a reminder they need on this golden rule. Because it's amazing how some of the things that we learn in kindergarten are needed more in the teenage years because they get lost in our busyness. So, do yourself a favor. Do us a favor. Do your teenager a favor. Remind them every day to do unto others as they would have them do unto them. So a few things before we end today. First of all, homecoming is right around the corner. On September 8th, following the game, we're throwing just a little bit of a fun, calling it homecoming and hotcakes in the youth room. We'll have some music playing. We'll put up some video game systems on the screens. And of course, we're going to make a mess of pancakes. If you'd like to help make some pancakes or you'd like to help provide ingredients or drinks, call the church office and let me know. You can find the number in the description of this video or this podcast. Also, on September 6th, it's going to mark our first after hours of the semester. In honor of this month having National Video Games Day on the 12th, we'll be pulling out Mario Party again and having our teens go head-to-head, team to team, to see who will win our after hours belt. After hours goes from 8 to 10, and students must attend Bible study to be able to attend after hours. And finally, October is coming, and with that comes our first fundraiser for next year's camp. We'll be hosting a pumpkin patch here at ABC from October 15th through the 31st. A sign-up sheet will be available in the youth room for times to volunteer. So if you and your students have any specific days, any specific hours you can help, it'd be greatly appreciated. We're going to be sending more info on the pumpkin patch next week in the mail. Hey, thank you so much for listening today. Know that I'm always praying for you and your family every day. If you haven't already, make sure to follow our social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram by searching AB Youth Min. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also, share our podcast so our reach can go out that much further. Thanks for joining me. We will see you here at Acton Baptist and on the Parent Podcast